Welcome ladies and gentlemen, and let's just get right into the shit show. As you all know, Sonic 06 is a not very well received game. It's rather infamous for just how much of a broken mess of a game it really is. Now, I'm not gonna give the usual Sonic has had a rough life cliche because you've heard it a million times and I know for sure you're tired of it. Honestly, I actually like most of the games during the dark age of Sonic, including 06. The only one I cannot stand exactly is Secret Rings. But I digress, this video is about 06, and what if I told you that Sonic 06 is actually canon? Yeah, some people doesn't really consider it canon for the fact that it's a bad game or how it ends by resetting itself in a way. In terms of it being a bad game, and that's your reason for not considering it canon, I think that's rather stupid because there's Resident Evil 6, which is a bad game. I've played it. It's still canon. You kind of have to accept that as just how it is. You can't just disregard something just because of it's being bad, unless it's officially stated that yeah, you can disregard it. But aside from that, if it's canon, it's canon. But for it resetting its events, I get it. You think that, well, pretty much nothing happened, so why should I really care? Well, get ready to have your mind blown. Well, I mean, if you're a Blaze or Silver fan, that is, or a fan of both. Back in July 2018, I stumbled upon a Tumblr post that went into great detail about how Sonic 06 is actually in fact confirmed to be canon, not only by in-game story details, but also by Shiro Mikawa himself. The Tumblr post begins with two screenshots from Twitter as the user says, "As Mikawa-san is Blaze's creator, I think it'd be interesting to hear about how Rush and 06 fit together chronologically," which in response, Mikawa says, No, Blaze's creator is Nishiyama-san, who wrote Sonic Adventure 1's story. The truth is, when writing Sonic 06, we wanted to add a sense of connection between Sonic Rush and Sonic 06, but I don't think that's ever been officially stated. Now, here's where we go into further detail. At the end of Silver's story, Blaze asks Silver to use Chaos Control on her to stop time and seal her within a different dimension alongside Iblis. Now, if you remember in Sonic Rush, Blaze is from the Soul Dimension, so you put one and one together, you basically realize that, well, Silver most likely sent her to the Soul Dimension. Plus, let's not forget that Rush did come first, so she's originally from the Soul Dimension. Now, this is probably where you're gonna try to combat my argument with the whole Blue Hedgehog statement, but don't worry, I got that planned as well, or well, the Tumblr post does anyways. You see, the word blue in Japanese also means naive, so when she's saying blue hedgehog, she's actually saying naive hedgehog, which shows this is actually a translation error, and also a pretty huge one if you ask me when it comes to figuring this whole plot out. But then again, this plot is pretty yikes. Now that there's more information, it's almost as complicated as the Kingdom Hearts plot. But anyways, depending on the region you're from, Silver's first appearance wasn't actually 06. It's actually Sonic Rush, since both of these games were released very close to each other. Another thing to note is that Eggman Nega is Silver's antagonist in Rivals and stated to be the descendant of Eggman. And also Iblis is technically in Rivals but goes by the name Ifrit. No, not the Final Fantasy summon. Another thing that's pointed out in Rush's case is that for Blaze, there wasn't any original promotion for her. It seemed that she was added later on in Rush's development close to Sonic 06. Now, something that's very confusing is that Eggman Nega is never stated in Rush where he's actually from. It's generally presumed that he's from the Soul Dimension, but that is never confirmed aside from the games thing that Blaze and Nega has been fighting for a long time. All we really know is that from this information is that all three games had a story that were planned to fit together in some way from the very beginning. Now here's something rather interesting that happens at the end of Silver's story. If you look closely as Blaze is being sealed into a different dimension while using the Chaos Emeralds, you'll notice that just for a second she becomes Burning Blaze. So basically, in the post, and I'm just going to straight up quote this, the fact that Blaze and the Soul Dimension exist and Mikawa confirmed that Blaze came from the future first mean that they are evidence of the timeline once existing, ergo 6 being canon. Now apparently this whole plot was intended to be explored in a Silver the Hedgehog video game that Sonic Team wanted to produce, but since Sonic 06 was such a failure, well, it just never happened because they changed the direction of the Sonic series after that. They took focus off Sonic's friends and more on just Sonic himself. So, you know, that sucks because I really would have liked to see just more Sonic games in general based off of Sonic's friends. We don't really have much focus on Sonic friends anymore. If anything, the focus on Sonic's friends are on the spin-off games. Now, here's where we go into the actually really cool and interesting stuff. I don't know if any of you have ever noticed, but Sonic and Blaze have actually a lot of matching sets on Sonic's channel, where they generally share similar poses. But this last one is important because specifically it references Sonic 06. Blaze is making the shape of a maple leaf with their flame, which is what Silver's quill design is based off of. Silver, on the other hand, is throwing a Tanzaku into the air, referencing the Tanabata Festival. The Tanabata Festival is a Japanese summer holiday which revolves around the famous story of a lonely princess Orihime in Hikoboshi. Two lovers who were separated across space on opposite ends of the Milky Way and can't see each other anymore. During Tanabata, you hope that they will eventually be able to see each other again. Sounds rather familiar, doesn't it? Now, while most attention has been put on Sonic over the years, other games have been referencing 06. Secret Rings, Unleashed, and even Colors. Also, let's note that in the Japanese version, Silver says, "Why does it feel like this isn't the first time you and I have fought before?" Also, a weird one is in Runners, as this may be the Silver from 06, but I'm not exactly sure. Essentially, all the proof that 06 is canon is here, but most people shrug it off as subtle nods or fan service and nothing more, which, hey, that's actually possibly all what this could be, honestly. I'm not really gonna fight it. Now, there are plenty of things to be questioned. How is Blaze a princess? How are the Soul Emeralds created? You know, stuff like that, and honestly, I don't have the answer. I have my own ideas, such as when Blaze was sent to another dimension, her memory and timeline were rewritten, but that still doesn't answer very much. But with that, that's the end of this video, and I know it took a little too long, or well, very long in that case, but it's all done, it's over with. Again, if the original writer of the Tumblr post ever sees this video, please comment or something to let me know so I can give you your credit because you really deserve it. And yeah, this video took too long to make and now I gotta figure out what to do next. Anyways though, yeah, I hope you all enjoyed and I'll see you all soon. Sayonara.